Hello again, guys. It has been a while, but I promise this video is well worth it. We are making brownie cookies today, and they are so yummy. And just to forewarn you, don't mind this whole mess. We were just outside all night, but let's get started on the Pioneer Woman items you're gonna need for this recipe. First off, you will need a spoon to mix the chocolate. You'll need the spatula to get the cookies off. You will need the flat whisk to whisk everything together. And you also need, this is just what I prefer to use to get everything out of the mixer into the mixer bowl. You'll need a 1 cup measuring, 1/4 cup measuring, 1 tablespoon, 1 teaspoon, half a teaspoon, and of course a pretty bowl to melt the chocolate in. And then you also need a bowl to mix the dry ingredients, and you will also need 2 cookie pans. These are all the ingredients you will need to make this recipe. You'll need 4 ounces of baking chocolate, 2 cups of sugar, 2 sticks of butter that they also need to be softened, so mine have been sitting out for a little bit, 3 large eggs, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, 2 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, 1/4 cup and 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder. You need half a teaspoon of kosher salt and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And of course you need some powdered sugar for the end. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start the oven to 350 and get that heated up. And then we're going to microwave the baking chocolate, which is very yummy. So all I'm doing is breaking up the chocolate bars just so that hopefully it'll melt a little faster. What I'm going to do is put it in the microwave for about 30 seconds and then I'm going to stir it, microwave for 30 seconds, stir it, and we'll see how that goes, how many times it takes. And isn't it just a pretty bowl too? Makes me happy. So like I said, doing it for 30 seconds, we'll see how that goes. Alright, so that did not do very much at all. So I think I'm going to try it for a minute now, and we'll see how that goes. Alright, let's see how this is looking. Hey, this bowl is pretty hot. Oh yeah, that's looking much better. So I'm just going to give it a little stirring. And I think I'm going to do it for another 30 seconds just because I want it silky smooth. See if I can touch this bowl. Ooh-wee. Alright. That is how we want it to be. So now I'm going to stir it up a little bit more and then I'm going to set it aside to let it cool. Alright, so next we're moving on to the mixer and we're going to add in both of the softened butters in here. Try to say that 3 times fast. I cannot. So we're adding in the butter, and then I went ahead and pre-measured my 2 cups of sugar, and I'm going to put that in there too. And then we're going to lock this girl down and turn her on. And all I'm going to do is mix this until it's good and combined. I have this speed on stir right now. I just didn't want the sugar to spread and get everywhere, so I put it on stir and then I'm going to bump it up a little bit. Alright, I'm going to bump it up just a little bit now. So next I'm going to slowly drizzle in the chocolate that I melted and let it cool for a little bit. So I've stopped it, and this is where I use the spatula, is I'm going to just kind of make sure to get all that chocolatey goodness on the side back into the batter where I want the chocolate to be. I'm just going to kind of push it down and then mix it again. Alright, so now while it's still on the stir mode, I'm going to drop an egg in one at a time. I try really hard not to get the shell in there. And last one. The next, I'm going to add the 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract in here. Let that spin for a minute, and then I'm going to do the spatula again and make sure to get all the edges so everything's mixed in good together. So while that is still on that stir mode, I'm going to mix the dry ingredients. I already measured out my 2 cups and 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. And then I need 1/4 cup and 1 tablespoon of this cocoa powder. See if I can do this without making a huge mess. Last time I failed. So we got 1/4 cup, and then we have 1 tablespoon. See if I can kind of get all the excess off. It's not getting everywhere. So we're done with the cocoa powder, and then we're going to do 1 teaspoon of the baking powder. This is not an unmessy job, but it is well worth it in the end. Got the baking powder. And then we have 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt. And then I'm just going to mix all that in together so it's all brown. And then I'm going to mix it into the mixer just a little bit at a time, just so it's not one big chocolate puff. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of just slowly start adding this in. Just a little cup at a time, just so, like I said, it's not one big puff. Looking good. Alright, so this is looking good, and this is the extremely messy part. You thought the other parts were messy, huh? You just wait. Last time I had this all over me. But like I said, if you try this, it is well worth it. So I got the batter, and I'm going to bring it over here to my pan with my with my cookie scoop, and I've lined, see, I'm already getting this messy. I lined the baking sheets with these little baking covers. So all I'm going to do is scoop some of these cookies out and put them on there. I'll let you skip the boring part because this is going to be a while. So I have finished the first batch, and what I have found is I go ahead and stick these in the oven for 10 to 11 minutes, and then I do the whole thing again on the second pan with the scooping. It just makes the time a little easier. So I'm going to put these in the oven, and I'm going to set the timer for 10 minutes. And like I said, while this is going, I'm going to be working on doing the same thing to the second pan. Alright, so our timer's done. I let them go for another minute, so they've been in there for 11 minutes. And I'm going to take them out. Ooh, doggy, hot. I'm going to set them up here and let them cool down for about 1 to 2 minutes. And then I'm going to put those other cookies back in the oven for 11 minutes. I already have wax paper down because it's going to get really messy, like I said. And I have my cooling cookie racks down. I'm going to put my powdered sugar in the sifter, and once they are cool, I'm going to take them off and put them on here, and I'm going to shift the powdered sugar on top of them. Alright, so I put the cookies on the cooling rack, and now I'm just going to do this and put a whole bunch of powdered sugar on top. Don't mind the shape. I was expecting them to be a little bit smaller cookies, but that's alright. I would maybe space them a little farther out. The other batch is already out of the oven, but I've got to let it cool off, and by that time, these will be good and cooled off, and I can put them in the pan to take to church tomorrow. Oh my word, these are so delicious. Y'all need to make them. You're going to love them. But if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel and check out our other videos, and if you want to, you can also share them. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. I'm going to eat this.